Hello, I'm Adam. Today I'll be teaching you how to record a macro and 3 ways you can run it in Microsoft Excel 2010. A macro is a single instruction that expands automatically into a set of instructions to perform a particular task. For example, if there are a task you found yourself doing on a regular basis, like setting a specific font, color, and border to a cell, you could write a macro that will do it for you, saving you time and effort. Firstly, before recording the macro, you need to ensure that the Developer tab is available on the ribbon. To do this, you need to click File in the top left corner. Once in Backstage View, click Options, Customize Ribbon, and ensure that the Developer box is ticked. Once done, click OK. Now that the Developer tab is available in the ribbon, I'll teach you how to record a macro. The first step when recording a macro is clicking the Record Macro button in the Developer tab. A dialog box will launch with the fields asking for the macro name, shortcut key, where the macro will be stored, and a macro description. When choosing the macro name, it's always good to make it related to the macro task. For example, I'll be bolding and bordering a cell, so I'll call my macro bold and border. Note that the macro name cannot have spaces. The next field is the shortcut key. This is one way the macro can be run that I'll be showing you soon. The shortcut key I will choose for my macro is Ctrl-Z. For store macro in, the default this workbook is the easiest option, so we'll leave that selected. For the description field, you can write a brief description about what the macro does, like macro tutorial bold and border of a single cell. Once all the fields have been filled, click OK. Once you have clicked OK, the macro begins running. You can make sure of this by checking that the Record Macro button in the Developer tab of the ribbon has changed to say Stop Recording. At this point, you will want to perform the series of tasks that you will want your macro to perform for you. So I'll click the Home tab, bold, and put a border around the cell. Once you have completed the series of tasks that you want your macro to perform, click Stop Recording. Now that the macro is recorded, I'm going to show you 3 ways to run it. The first way is using the shortcut key you assigned while creating the macro earlier. In my case, I will use Ctrl-Z like so. The second way to run the macro will be directly from the Macros menu. This is done by clicking the Macros button in the Code group of the Developer tab in the ribbon. A dialog box will launch with all your created macros in it. You will need to select the macro that you want and click the Run button. The third way that I'll be teaching you to run a macro is by adding a macro button to the Quick Access toolbar, which is the bar located here either above or below the ribbon. In my case, it's located below the ribbon. What you'll need to do is click the drop down arrow to the left of the toolbar and click More Commands. This will launch the Excel options, specifically the Quick Access toolbar options. Above the left list, you want to click the drop down Choose Commands From and select Macros. Once done, you want to select the macro you want and click the Add button in the center of the 2 lists. This will add the macro to the Quick Access toolbar. With the macro selected, you can click the Modify button below the left list to change the name and icon of the macro. I'm happy with the name, so I'll just change the icon. Once done, click OK to finish the process. As you can see, the Quick Access toolbar now has our macro icon in it, and if you hover your cursor over the icon, the macro name will appear. Once this is all complete, all you need to do is select the cell and click your button in the Quick Access toolbar to run the macro. Thank you for taking the time to watch my tutorial. I'm Adam Scarf, and that was how to record and run a macro in Microsoft Excel 2010.